planned for when I do these lives, but today I didn't plan anything. So I do need a few things. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna paint some of my pieces I need. So this this is not going to be a real exciting one. We're not going to be making anything specifically today, but we are going to paint a little brass wreath and some reindeer. So let's turn down and we'll get started on painting those pieces. Hello, PK. Hello, Anita. And hopefully it won't be an entirely boring show. So let's get going. And like I said, let's turn down and I will show you what we're going to do with the pieces. Hi, Becky, that I need to paint. And I'll show you what I need them for. So let's turn down and we will start doing that. So starting to get dizzy here, folks, remember we got to flip the camera. So here we go. Okay, here we are down at the desk. And what we're going to do is I'm going to get my silicone mat out because I'm going to be painting. And we don't want that on our regular mat. So what we're going to paint here, when I finish a show like I did this weekend, I make this list of what I am getting low on and what I need. And two of the things I need are little fairy dust necklaces, and the other is another thing is a large hair barrette. So since I usually paint some of the pieces for those things and they need painted, we're going to do that. So here's the hair barrette blank for my large hair barrette, and here are our pieces. Now these are all brass up here, and of course this is bronze. I could leave it this color, but I will probably put some blue with alcohol ink on these to be the night sky a little bit. Because what we're going to do when I put this together finally is I'm going to put it like glue it like this onto my hair barrette. Then we're going to have this little wreath right here in the middle. Have this little crescent moon over here on this side. And Santa Claus's reindeer, well, 6 of them anyway, are going to be flying across the sky here. But I only have one of my reindeer painted. As you can see, he's painted from the last time I was needing one, but none of the other ones are, so we need to paint them and the wreath. I'm not going to paint the little moon. He gets to stay his brass color. So we'll push these all off here, but we do need to paint all our reindeer and our wreath. So and then we have one more little reindeer we need to paint for one of my fairy dust necklaces. So we'll put him out here too. These pieces are just going to sit and wait till I do make them. The other one is going to have this little rose, which I already have painted. This was a free gift from my last set of stuff, and since I've got it here, I'm going to paint it too. So out it comes. So we don't need these little things right now. They're for the fairy dust necklaces, and I'm not going to paint those particular pieces. But we are going to paint all these little guys. This guy doesn't need painted. He's already been painted. So he can go back in the bag. And we'll put that aside as well. So now we need to, oh, we don't need to paint the moon too. Bing. Okay, so Good morning, Linda. So now we're going to get out our paint pins. There's a bit of glue that was on from last time. We'll just pull this off. And the little reindeer, I'm going to paint with this copper color with this gold color for their antlers. Because they're brass, this changes the color a little bit, so it's not a... So we'll just paint this little guy. And go down the road till we get all of them done. Now I know watching me paint things is not real exciting, but it is as far as I'm concerned, it's a necessity. We have to have our little pieces painted. As I said, one of these little reindeer will be wrapped around one of my fairy dust necklaces, and the rest are for this large hair barrette. Okay, that portion's done. Now we're just going to get the gold out and start on their antlers. Now, when I do put these into the hair barrette, I will be cutting off that ring so that it's not right in your face kind of thing. Okay. The reindeer, 4 of them are finished. They just have to dry enough to put the, I coat them with Rust-Oleum so that they stay nice. Probably don't need to, because these paints are actually made for rocks and metals, so they're probably fine, but you never can tell. The reason I'm not done with these 2 is they're going to get a little red nose, because these 2, the one on the bottle and the one of the ones for the hair barrette, are going to be Rudolph's. Next thing is we need to work on all these green things. So let's get our green pins out. Now on a leaf like this, I usually just paint the whole thing, my lighter green. Huh, I just thought of something. I haven't used that big gold leaf, filigree leaf that's from my bargain bead box. And I was thinking I might want to put something with it. I could actually use this leaf to put with it over the top of it after it's painted. That would look pretty cool. Now, this is a slightly darker green, and I'm going to let this dry for a little bit. In the meantime, I'm going to paint the little leaf, the green part of the... sounds like a couple of my kitties are getting into it here. So paint the green here on our wreath. I have 4 cats, so I'm not sure which 2 just decided to go at each other for a while. They usually don't do that. but who knows? So now this one's dried a little bit, so I'm going to take this darker green and I'm going to make a point of getting this veining with the darker green. That sounds like a lot of work there, Anita. I used to can carrots and green beans, but it's been a long time since I've bothered. Um, okay, there is this leaf finished. Next step is going back to my wreath, and we're going to paint the ribbon here. Now, this is going to get a top coat of a different kind of paints. I usually paint them with the paint pen first because it helps the other paint stay here better. The little holly berries here. Now, sometimes I find I play with this a little bit too soon and I get paint on my fingers. And, you know, one of those things. But if I need to touch up something, then I will. Just because, you know, when you're touching it and it's wet and the paint comes off on your hand. Sort of uncouth for that to happen, but it does. Okay, now we've got all the normal things painted. We're going to do a change of pace. And I put on this Prima paint on top. This is the red wine color. It's from Art Alchemy, but it's a regular paint rather than a paint pen. So I'm going to have to get a paintbrush out to take care of this. So I have more skinnier paintbrushes, but I like this one because it's got this bend in it where it's got and I think I have more control with it that way. So the teeny one tends to have little extra brush pieces hanging off the side, which just drive me nuts. So okay, those two have their Rudolph noses. Now I'm going to paint the berries and the wreath with this color as well. overwent that time, I'm going to have to touch it up a little bit with the green. Rory, settle down. Actually, it looks like I'm going to have to touch up a lot. I'm making a bit of a mess here, but okay. Let that dry for a little bit. Close this up. Okay. Let this dry for a bit, and then once it's dry for a little while, then we will get the green back out and touch up where I overpainted it. But so yeah, that someone is Rory. He's complaining because Sam jumped him a little bit ago. Sam is the ruler of the roost, even though she's the tiniest of my 4 cats. And she's my little prima donna, and every once in a while she gets pissed and doesn't want the other cats wherever she's at, so she jumped him a minute ago, so he's a little upset. But for those of you who were on earlier, that was what all that screaming was about between the two of them. That's like, yeah. So we're just going to take, this should be dry enough that we can do this now, and touch up where I overdid with the red on the green. Looks like I did better on this side. I don't seem to have to do very much touch up, really. There we go. So now I did notice I got a little green here, so we'll just go over it with this one. All right, so there are our pieces all painted. And when we put them together, of course, they'll go on the... But now I'm going to leave these sitting slightly to the side here. I should go paint my brush, but it cleans pretty well because it is a water-based paint, but it sticks pretty darn good anyway. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get out the alcohol ink, which I should have already done, but I didn't, so... It's underneath my feet here. So we've got, well, you can't see it, but I've got a tray of various goodies here. I'm going to use this one. It's got one that's been used already, so I'm not going to bother changing it. I keep a bottle of alcohol in here, as well as these daubers, which you've got put with a cotton swab. And then underneath this tray, where all this goodie stuff is at, is my alcohol inks, which I don't think I can show you. See, there's a whole bunch in there. So we'll take that out, and I want a relatively dark blue. So I think we'll go with Prussian blue, Prussian, however it's pronounced. And then I'm going to just daub this on these. And it won't change it entirely to blue because, let's face it, it's got the bronze, but it will give it a blue cast. So that's always nice. Yeah, they do tend to. When I'm listening to videos that have cats in them and they cry, especially if it's kittens, then Sam comes running and wants to know what the heck you're doing here. So just going to daub that on here. And this is going to make a mess on the mat, and that's all right, because that's what this mat's for, to make a mess on. As you can see, it's not really changing its color a lot. It's just adding that little overtone of blue on here. If this was silver, it would be a different matter. It would really change the color quite a bit. But since it is not silver, but is bronze, it's just going to give it a blue cast. And Rory's still complaining. Rory, Mama's over here. He's one of those that always, he doesn't like you picking him up. He doesn't even really like to be petted. But if he doesn't know where you're at, he starts screaming, and where are you at? I need to know where you're at. He was actually a feral kitty that they live trapped up at Glacier National Park, and my husband, who had always told us we didn't need any more cats because we already had 3, called me and said, can I bring him home? Because if not, if they don't find someplace to take him that will take him, they're going to put him down. And I was like, oh, well, that's ridiculous. Just because he's feral, you're going to put him down. So he couldn't stay up at the park, which is where he'd been, because he's eating all the little indigenous animals. And obviously he's non-indigenous. And so they didn't want him up there anymore. And so we brought him home. And he's been with us for, 5 years now, I think. And like I say, he still doesn't like to be touched, but he sure wants to know where you're at all the time. Okay, so like I say, it didn't really change the color too much. It just added that blue cast, and that's sort of what I wanted, was the blue. I forgot to put this in there. Was the blue cast so that it would look like more like the night sky. So and this, I didn't spray any alcohol down here because I didn't want to get it on my pieces. But it will wipe off pretty much, or you can just spray it with alcohol and wash it off. So that's why I use this silicone mat. Things will come off of it if I bother to clean it. I don't bother to clean it as much as I should because it doesn't hurt anything to have the color on it. It's just when the glue gets on it that it becomes a problem, because then that sheds off onto your pieces. So you have to fix that. Morning, Randy. We're just about done painting here. We've got these pieces all painted here. And they need to be taken out and sprayed. But of course, I need to go to the garage to do that. So you're not going to get to go do that with me. But so we have 2 little Rudolphs, one for the fairy dust necklace and one for the hair barrette. This, I'm thinking, like I said, I'm really thinking I might just take this and put it over the top of that gold one we got in one of the bargain bead boxes as a sort of accent to put the two together. So that might be fun. But let's see. Oh, do I have a... I thought I had an empty fairy dust bottle here, but I don't. It's all just a moment. I'll be right back. These are the little bottles I use for the fairy dust necklaces. And what I do is fill these little bottles with glitter, and then I glue the top on. But one of these little ones with the red nose is going to wrap around the bottle. We've got to bend it to make it work. It's going to wrap around the bottle. And then I'll put like red and green and probably some blue glitter in the bottle. That's our fairy dust. So he'll look like that. And then I'll put a little bead strand down this side. I'm going to use some white stars and one red and one green bicone, and the little fairy goes on the bottom. Depending on which color I want her. Here's my gold one. I don't have very many gold ones because they don't make them anymore, and these are unfortunately Tiara cast pieces, and Tiara cast isn't going to make anything anymore. So then this will hang down. This will be on the bottle. Then there'll be a little bead strand with this little fairy hanging down below it. And the other one is going to be, that I'm making, is going to have this little and I'll probably use silver fairies because I've got quite a few of those. I just got to find where they're at. So this little rose that I've already painted is going to be on the other bottle. But like I say, you've got to bend them because they don't fit on here right as they sit. Put her back in her package so she doesn't get lost. Those are like gold to me right now because you can't get them anymore. Tiara Cast has made all they're going to. Every place that had any, I ordered as many as I could so that I'd have them because, well, Tiara Cast unfortunately is going out of business, and so those fairies won't be available anymore. Here's my silver one, some silver ones. So I'll probably use silver ones. I did manage to get 7 or 8 from Art Beads, so I have enough to make a few more, and then I'm going to have to find a different source of little fairies. So put one of these in each of our bags here. So that like I say, this one's going to go on this bottle. Oh, please. Yes, indeed. So the first thing I'm going to do when I make this is I don't want these little hanger pieces on here. So I'm going to take my heavy-duty clippers and I'm going to just clip it off. And then I'll take my file and give it a little, because we don't want sharp spots on it. Now this is ready to fold over, and it mainly is these leaves here that are going to need to fold. So I'll just take them and bend them like so. A little bit on the other side as well. And then I just keep going back and forth to the bottle until I get it where I want it at. This one's close, but it's hanging up a little bit. So she needs to fold over just a bit more here. And this needs to come down because I noticed it was pushed up some. That can go down just a hair's breadth right there. I think we're good other places. We'll sit like here. And in fact, we'll get a little glue. We'll get our E6000 out and we'll put it on right now since it's already gonna need a new tube of E6000 pretty soon. Been busy with hair. When I was making hair barrettes last week, I used a lot of it. Come on, come loose. There we go. Now, dimes to dollars, this is going to overglue. And that's all right, because if you let it sit for 15-20 minutes, definitely before the glue dries all the way, but like a half hour maybe, you can pull the excess glue off the sides. So on you go. So there is what that's going to look like on the bottle. You're going to wiggle around too much, aren't you, baby? As you can see, there's lots of extra glue there. It goes all over the place when you squish it down. And that's what I'm talking about you need to let it dry for like a half hour. And then you can pull the excess glue off with a pair of tweezers. Now this, I'm going to take the little screw. Whoa, what are you? Oh, I see. And then I'm going to just put some glue on it. And then we're done with the glue for a while, so we'll close it up. And I'm going to screw it back into the cork with the glue on it. That'll keep it from being easily unscrewed. I learned that lesson the hard way, that this needs done, because I had a little girl at when I was at the farmer's market that took this one and was one of them and was playing with it, and there goes my cork. I'll have to go find it. It was sticking to my finger, so I think it's in my shirt. Yep, it is. So so she uncorked it and pulled pulled the little screw out. Well, actually, I guess she pulled the screw out right before she uncorked it, but she was twisting it around and twisted it right off, and down it went. It was not a pretty sight, because glitter went everywhere. Because I fill these bottles with glitter. That's our fairy dust. So So the two of the glued portions are done. When this dries a bit and I pull the excess glue, then I'll fill the little bottle with whatever glitter I want to use and then glue it closed. I think these are, whoa, got a stringer of glue that's going all over the place. Okay, these are dry enough they could go out and be sprayed. But stay there. So we are at that point where everything needs to be sprayed as far as those are concerned, and this one needs to dry a bit before we do anything else. So I think we are at more or less the quitting point here. This is gonna see, and then all our little reindeer will be flying here. Well, our little moon will be right here. I think this is going to be cute, like so. So since I think we're pretty much done with what we're doing, let's flip the camera back up. There we go. Not real exciting, nothing really, I didn't make anything per se, though I did show you how I was going to make everything. I think that barrette is going to turn out really cute. And also the fairy dust necklaces. Maybe since I haven't really done the fairy dust necklaces other than glue this one together here, maybe tomorrow we'll make a fairy dust necklace from start to finish, and that would be fun. Of course, it won't be live; it'll be on camera. It will be off the video, but you know, you can see. Right? Maybe I'll finish the rose one up on the video. We'll see what we decide to do tomorrow. But yeah, I should have designed something to make, but since the only things I had designed were things I needed to paint, I figured that would work. I hope you enjoyed watching me and seeing how I did these. Now all these pieces are going to go outside that we did paint, and they're going to get sprayed with a clear coat of Rust-Oleum to make sure that they are more protected, though they really don't need it. I'm just a little bit anal about stuff like that. I'd like to make sure it is good and safe. So but they are pretty simple pieces. So not as long a live as I normally do, because I usually try to go an hour, but we're just about at 40 minutes now. So we're going to probably take off a little early. And I hope you enjoyed working on these painting projects with me and seeing how I do those. I didn't do a lot of pieces today. A lot of times when I get painting, I do like 30 or 40 pieces. And so I have a whole box full of stuff that's already painted. But these pieces that when I designed this hair barrette, I didn't have but one little reindeer painted, and I wanted these multiple reindeers as well as the wreath for this barrette. And then I decided I wanted one on a fairy dust necklace, a little Christmassy fairy dust necklace. My last show that I have for the season is coming up on Friday. So I know I'm not going to get everything on my list done because it's a pretty extensive list. And as the case may be, whatever I don't get done by Friday is just stuff that I don't need again specifically until April, because that's when my first show of the year is after, for next year. So I'm not in a big rush on most of these things, other than like the things like I want to fill the box, which is so that they don't have. If anybody's seen my displays, I have boxes with cushions in them that I pin my pieces into, specifically the hair barrettes and the uh, key rings, the fairy dust necklaces, and my bookmarks. My hook bookmarks are all pinned into the cushioned pieces, and there's holes in them right now. So I need to make some more. And so that's more or less what I'm working on. And so I'm hoping that that you guys enjoy making some of the things that I make. Unfortunately, I don't, but I don't think I'm going to get everything done. And the things that I do need were things that we've done recently. So I'm not sure what we're going to do. I don't really like to copy things a lot so that you're seeing things 10 million times. But, you know, it is what it is. And I hope you enjoy the things I do make. So anyway, we're going to take off for the day. And I'm going to go take all these pieces outside to the garage and spray them with the Krylon. Or you can use also Rust-Oleum clear coat. Those are the two that I do use on them. Either, like I say, Krylon Crystal Glaze, I think it's called, or something like that, clear coat. And the other is Rust-Oleum, a clear spray. So those work really good. But I'm going to have to go spray these pieces. I do it in the garage because we don't want that spray smell in the house. So take that out and do that. And then I'm going to have to pick the glue off of this little rose one. I don't think it's quite dry enough yet. Oh, it might be close to it. But see, little bottle. See, it's got an overflow of glue right here. Come on. And you just take your tweezers and get hold of it and pull your own. And it's ready to pull pretty good. I don't know if you guys want me to turn it down and again and show you me pulling the glue off of that. I can if you want me to. Anybody care? Well, let's do it. I'll do it. Let's turn it around again and we will show you how to do that. So here we go with our Dizzy again. Oh, come on, go down. We don't want the ceiling. There we go. So as you can see, there's a little bit of extra glue around the edges. Let's see if I can get it to focus. It's sort of hard to see clear glue. So there. So all you need to do is hold down on your piece so that it doesn't pull itself up, and get hold of one of the edges of this glue with your tweezers. And just carefully pull. See that lovely clump of glue now in my hand? And it's no longer along the edges of our little rose. And pull this off your tweezers after you get it off. Rub it really good off your tweezers. Otherwise, by the time you get it off your tweezers, it's well stuck. Now I see I still have a little bit of glue hiding in some of these crevices that I don't want it. So I'm going to again put my finger on the piece and scrape it up till I get hold of an edge. And then we will pull those up. Now she's still a little wet, I've noticed, because I just felt the rose move. You don't want that to happen. That's why I've been keeping my finger on it. But we have a glop right here. So get under that as well as I can. And this spot doesn't feel as dry as the other spot was. So it doesn't want to pull as easily. Now also, if it's on the bottle like this, you can just take your finger and rub on it and it will rub off. Like I say, until it gets dry. Once it's dry, it's there for good. To glue off my tweezers. Let's see what else we need to do here. There we go. Oop, got a little bit still right here up on top of my leaf. Okay, I think she's pretty clean now. So glue removed. So now it's probably dry enough, maybe in about 15-20 minutes more, to put the glitter in and glue the top closed, and then this portion is done. Well, you don't want to sit up straight, do you? There we go. So there we go. There's another 5 minutes worth of pulling glue off. Dizzy again. So there we go. Easy peasy. It's really not hard to pull excess E6000 off when you do that, as long as you wait till it's dried enough that it's soft and not real sticky, but not long enough that it's really, really setting up. If you wait 12 hours, you're probably out of luck. You won't get it off. But half hour, then it comes out pretty nicely. But do hold on to the piece that you've glued, or it will try to come out from underneath it as well. So, yeah, I think the little rose is going to be cute. But I will probably finish this one fairy dust necklace up tomorrow, or either that or the barrette tomorrow on tomorrow's morning's video. Though I do have an afternoon video tomorrow, since it's Wednesday, and it's the unboxing day for Softflex Design Challenge Kit. This one is called Gingerbread, and I will have that one up at 5 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, right after Softflex does theirs. So here we go. That's what we got. We'll see you later. Bye-bye. This has been Rose from Rose's Garden.